Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a high-stakes diplomatic visit to France. From the G7 Leaders Summit to a series of bilateral engagements on the sidelines of the gathering, Prime Minister Modi is holding talks with world leaders. The spotlight is on PM Modi's meeting with US President Donald Trump ahead of their scheduled bilateral talks, where the two leaders shook hands at the G7 Leaders Summit. It was their first face-to-face meeting in the last 16 months. The two leaders are scheduled to hold bilateral talks today. Well, the world has changed drastically since the last met in the tariff triad, war on Iran and eventually ceasefire and India-US trade deal. But most importantly, the meeting comes in the backdrop of tensions in the Strait of Hormuz. Sitting beside US President Donald Trump at the G7, Prime Minister Narendra Modi raised concerns over the safety of seafarers. Well, in a statement, PM Modi said, "Those working at sea must be able to perform their duties without fear or threat to their lives." Well, this comes against the backdrop of 3 Indian sailors who were killed in an American strike off the coast of Oman after a US military strike on the oil tanker on 10th of June. Earlier, India had summoned the US Embassy's Deputy Chief of Mission, Jason Meeks, twice and registered its protest over the strikes. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had also raised the issue with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Separately, on the sidelines of the G7 summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral meetings with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. But all eyes will be on the Trump-Modi bilateral later today.